if
a
he has
literal.
multiple slaves, that means it's okay to have the harem.
Hello, and welcome to the bottom of the internet. This is Another Dead Pixel, the podcast that wishes it was a TV show. My name is Nick, and I'll be your host. Here with me tonight, my good friend and a man, the only person to win every Olympic gold medal. It's Joe. Joe, how you doing tonight?
Doing all right. The key is to bribe the judges. I mean, it's no real secret. You just can't get caught.
Like, what do you do on ones that don't have judges? Like, I don't
You,
know, like the races and
oh, you mean when
the
you're
swimming.
not being seen, and then you just take that moped and you just scoot your way up, and then the next time the cameraman sees you, yeah. Oh,
that's that's wild. I mean, I thought the camera was on you the whole time.
well, like I said, that's like, oh, that, and you got, with today's technology, deep fakes. You just got to get someone else to run like you, and then just cover it all up.
So you have to
Have you not
bribe.
seen the Spider-Man movie?
So
It's all about the deepfakes.
you've got to bribe like every judge and spectator, and then deepfake
Well,
everything. That sounds
you
really
to make your
expensive.
country win.
It's true.
You know.
It's true. Anything for the good old U.S. of A.
So the question is, who would play you on our TV series? That's the real question.
Well, I don't know. Probably. I don't know. I'm trying to think of an actor that kind of looks like me. Probably have to go with an Indian actor, even though I'm not Indian. Um, but I don't know. God. I'm gonna say, uh, just for fun, Antonio Banderas. How about that?
Yeah, I was gonna be like, I don't know, man. I'm like, I'll go with Jackie Chan because his head's round. Uh,
Yeah. Oh, oh, for you.
yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure, man.
yeah, I
For
could.
you, I don't know. I thought
It's,
you'd go with John Leguizamo, because that's they always go to.
yeah, I don't know. He's kind of. I don't know.
You can be
He's kind of
Luigi.
small.
It's fine.
He's kind of. I don't know. I don't really see it. I kind of see it, but I kind of don't see it.
Oh no, I
Uh,
was going purely based off of just who you would launch. That's all.
oh, um, maybe like if it was like a really serious TV show, Benicio del Toro, that'd be a good one. But I don't think I'm that
It'd
serious.
literally be a crime detective drama. Another dead pixel.
He's another dead pixel. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, he would
Yeah,
because he's always
it'd be
looking
like
at
the
the.
new CSI or some shit. We'd be wearing sunglasses in the middle of the night.
Yeah, because Benicio del Toro is always looking at people like this. He's just always like has his head down and his eyes up like some kind of wolf or something. And then he like leans his head back and he's like and he just kind of
Yeah, that dude
mumbles
mumbles.
hard.
It's the one role he plays in every movie. I think he mastered it better than like Keanu Reeves, better than Johnny Depp. I mean, he knows how to play his one part. And like whether it be Star Wars, whether it be The Usual Suspects, like throughout time, it's just the one character.
Yeah, he's pretty good in Sicario.
Never saw it.
It's pretty good. Sicario 1's pretty good. Sicario 2 gets like Sicario 1 is like I don't know. It's a drug. It's like an anti-drug movie or an anti-cartel kind of cop movie, and it's kind of dour and sort of like this was an impossible problem. But then Sicario 2 goes into like, no, we're just an action movie now. It's more serious than that, I guess, but it's way more like we're just gonna go kill the cartel, and it's more fun in that way. It's definitely gets a lot more wacky, I think. But they're both pretty good movies, I think.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll take your word for it.
you
I'm
sh-
not going to get around to watching it anytime soon.
you should if you ever get time. It's definitely not bad, but yeah.
I got still watch that Batman movie you recommended so highly. Though all my coworkers seem to really knock on.
I mean, yeah, you're talking to me about this before the podcast. So, what are their criticisms of this Batman movie, this most recent The Batman movie?
Um, the criticisms is don't pay for it. Just watch it off of HBO Max. and one of them's like, "Well, too late. I already paid to watch it," and it was disappointing. Uh, One was like I couldn't stand it from front to end. It was just so boring. The staunch defender of the group was like, "Oh no, only the first half is boring. It only took me like 4+ hours to watch this movie, which is actually pretty good considering how long it is." And they were like, "Yeah, the second half actually got good." Uh, I had to ask them all, I'm like, "So what do you think of the new Batman?" And they're like, "Nah." They were like none of them, like the one who thought it was boring from front to end was like, yeah, it's like I couldn't get past the fact that just seeing the vampire, it's like that's all they could see. Edward, I don't know his real name.
Oh, Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, Sparkle Vampire.
Okay.
That's that's all that's, and then
Twilight. Yeah.
the other ones are like he's not bad, but he's not really great. Like everyone still thinks he's like maybe third best Batman because we literally got the like my half of the office discussing just Batman in general. So it was actually really funny because I brought up the topic and all of a sudden everyone got on the tangent, just stopped working and just started talking about it. And so one of the supervisors like he's like hands down he's like, no, Bale, man, Bale is like it's what we grew up with. That is the way to do. That is Batman. Like nothing better than Heath Ledger's Joker. Then as one of the other guys I'm pretty sure was trolling was like Jack Nicholson, man. I'm like, and then I was just like, y'all don't know what you're talking about. I said Adam West for the win. Uh, and yeah, I got looked at really funny for that one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I don't know. Like yeah, it's probably too slow. It's probably too long. It doesn't, I don't know, have a quite as much of a big explosion at the end like a lot of others do. I understand the criticisms. I can see people saying that Robert Pattinson is the third best. Um, Keaton is of a time. I mean, I think that exact same performance by Keaton now, it wouldn't fly, but it's of a time in the late '80s, early '90s.
yeah,
So
well, yeah, like the Tim Burton Batman, like that was most definitely like I love the city,
yeah,
style of it. I did not, the villains were the villains. I mean, uh, once again that you're right, it's of a time. And I honestly don't remember Val Kilmer's performance. George Clooney, I stopped watching that one. Like, I never watched it from front to back. Uh,
wow, I was a
yeah,
kid
that
whenever
that
that came
was
out.
I was so goddamn angry on that one.
I was like right at the right age for the toys and stuff of the Batman and Robin one. I was just about to age out of the toys, but it was like that was probably one of the last movies where I was like, I want to get like the toy for this or whatever. Yeah, Val Kilmer was, people don't like that one, and he was pretty deadpan, but I don't know. Like Batman Forever has a soft spot in my heart because like the Riddler and Two Face I thought were played by like Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones. They were pretty good. I don't know. Like
That's the thing is, I think that's what turned me off. Tommy Lee Jones was such a good actor at that point in my mind because like he was in things like Under Siege, and I think that was the Fugitive and stuff like that. So he was such a like I had him in such a respected regard, and then I'm like, oh, this is bad. And then there was then Jim Carrey. I'm like, Jim Carrey's like, you're done. I just he between that and like the Cable Guy, it's like you're dead to me now.
Jim Carrey,
So
yeah, Jim Carrey has is kind
he's
of
come
a,
back now in a way,
well,
but it's just
like he's kind of with this is years and years ago, but they made a documentary about his performance as what is it called, Man on the Moon, who's the comedian that he was in that movie.
Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, so like he like method acted that whole thing, and was like really kind of horrible to people. Um, and like there's a documentary that talks about it and shows it. But I mean, he's gone through a lot of troubles. I don't know. It was fun. I
I
enjoyed
feel
it.
like he went through every slapstick comedian has that arc. You get popular, you get big for doing the silly things you're noted for, and then you get pigeonholed into only being that guy.
Yeah,
Then your audience grows out of that. That's no longer funny to them, and then essentially something, the depression hits or like the dark side takes over, then you end up trying to do dark comedies for a little bit. Everyone's like, "Whoa, this isn't the person I remember," and then eventually, if they're lucky, they'll come out the other side with some really cool gems and maybe show that they have a higher range than just comedy. But like I feel like you got Jim Carrey, Robin Williams, similar, essentially Adam Sandler. Um, it's like, so how
Yeah,
they
it's
come out the
true.
other side, or if they do or not, that's that's determines a lot. But
Well,
I
I
just
mean, like
remember
I
they
think they
all end up doing, well, maybe not Adam Sandler, but Robin Williams
well,
did some really dark stuff too.
like Punch Drunk Love is kind of dark. And like Uncut Gems, I've heard it's kind of dark. Yeah, yeah, I think they just want to be taken seriously at some point. Like they kind of grow out of the comedy and they want to be a real actor or whatever. Um, and Jim Carrey has done some good stuff over the years. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is good. There's a few other things. And Robin Williams, of course, won an Oscar and had some success. He also has had some pretty bad flops, but you know, uh, I don't blame him for that. But like the Batman movie, it's too long. I don't know why they let it be 3 hours. They could have cut it down to probably like 2:45, and it would have felt a little snappier probably. But they didn't want to do that. It was kind of a bold choice. I think it's good. I think it's definitely better um than Batman Rising of the Dark Knight. I forget what the third Bale one is. I think it's better than that. I think it's probably better than the first Bale Batman. But
I like the first one actually. I think I like the first one better than the first one is my preferred out of the trilogy.
I don't even
There,
remember it. Like I've seen it like once, and I was like, "This is good." And then, but the second one blew me away so much that every time I think about watching any of the Batmans from Bale, I'm just like, I'll just watch the second one again.
See, I really thought the second one was really sloppy in a lot of ways. And I know it's an unpopular opinion, and it's fine, but it's just, I just really, there's just enough about it that just wasn't. I mean, the great parts were just phenomenally great. And that they kind of overshadow a lot of the bit, like if you're gonna like nitpick at it, I guess. And so the ugly bits, so I can see it being overall a better movie as far as and for the average person. I think though, I don't know, I just really like the Batman Begins, the whole story structure. It just makes, as far as an origin story goes, I like that one far better than a lot of the other stuff that they end up, a lot of these superhero movies pump out. The
Yeah.
third one of the Bale series fucking just angered me. That
Let's
was
have
so dumb.
Batman fight in the daylight in the street. That'll work. Yeah,
Let's have him ignore like the mosh pit that's about to happen between the good guys and bad guys. Like, I'm in a jet that has guns, and I'm just gonna wait. You guys fight it out, murder each other. I'm gonna go park this thing because I want to come in and punch my way to victory. I'm
that's
like,
that's definitely a lot cooler. You got to admit. The second Batman was the Dark Knight. I mean, that movie owes its whole existence to Heath Ledger, because it would be a very whatever, it was all right movie without him. It had an okay whatever story. It did a lot of it did a lot of good things, but like Heath Ledger, every scene. I mean, he starts the movie, with like the bank heist. You don't know it's him, but he puts on a mask and then goes and does the bank heist. And so like he's the beginning, and every part after that you're thinking about like what Heath Ledger is doing. So that movie is like only good, only like great, I would say, because of Heath Ledger. And if he wasn't in it,
see,
it wouldn't be as good.
See, it's hard to say because that's all, that's a big part of it is done with the directing and the guidance of that to a certain extent. But also, if Heath Ledger didn't die, I honestly think that movie wouldn't have been as elevated so fondly because if he
It
just
was,
gone on
yeah.
to do other stuff, and if depending on but because of his death, uh, that became like the pinnacle of his work. and like everyone's like, that's the new gold standard, and now no one can touch the Joker ever again unless if you do an extremely different Joker. And since then, whenever they tried, well, I hadn't seen uh
The Joker,
uh yeah, the Joker. I hadn't seen that
Joaquin
one.
Phoenix.
And Suicide Squad,
Oh yeah,
well,
that's
it's
horrible.
like that one,
The first one is anyway.
that gets a lot of bad rap. He didn't get enough screen time, a lot of just debates and arguments behind the scenes, so can't really take that at all. So
Yeah, I mean, like I kind of see what you're saying. I think that Heath Ledger probably would have won the Best Supporting Actor Oscar, even if he hadn't died. I think it did. I think it helped propel him to that. But like, I mean, like, like that movie is good. Is good because of him. And if you're talking about like an Oscar, that's kind of what they think about is like, is this person kind of carrying the movie, or like doing like extra work. And he was, I mean, Heath Ledger was, I mean, he hadn't done a whole lot of really strange different things. I think there's a lesser known movie like Tangerine or something like that that I heard he was like good in. Um, that and then I guess he done Brokeback Mountain, which I never saw, but people say that's really good. But like I think I think he was pretty good. I think even when you go back and watch it now, everybody else's performance is like, well, it's sort of dated and it's sort of whatever, but his performance holds true. It's still really good. But
yeah, I do agree with you that he is the best part of that movie.
yeah,
Uh, but then I also, like I said, there's just so much of that movie is just, in my opinion, just sloppy. I mean, the whole motorcycle scene, um, it's there. I mean, granted, a lot of people make fun of the glaring loophole that Batman just leaves a party full of people just to the Joker. Just he saves the girl, then they cut to the
yeah,
next scene.
that's pretty
I
bad.
mean, he's still looking for Bruce Wayne. He's gonna murder everyone in that room. He just threw a girl out the window just for the sake of it, essentially. So,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
they could have handled that with like a throwaway scene of like 2 seconds of like security running in and then the Joker running away. Like they could have
or a
done that.
one-liner news bulletin dialogue, and it's like,
Yeah.
and luckily no one got in, like something like that. But it's just, I don't know, it was some weird stuff. You know, I don't know. There was that movie, like I said, you're right. Heath Ledger's scenes were the best part about it, but there was just, I don't know. I'm very much against that being as good as everyone says it is.
Yeah. They've all got problems, that's for sure, because they're fucking comic book movies, but it is what it is. But I mean,
Yeah.
like for me, like what I've been watching recently, I think I talked about this a little bit before, but I just finished the first season of Rising of the Shield Hero. Um and it's pretty good. I think the last time I talked about it, I was only on I don't know, episode 10 or whatever. There's 25 episodes and I just finished it. The second season has come out. I think they're on episode 6 as we record this. So I'm going to keep jamming through that and catch up with that. But um, the Rising of the Shield Hero, it's pretty good. I think that it's a better attempt at shonen than a lot of other typical shonen shows. The main hero, the shield hero, he like can't pick up any weapons, so he can only use his shield, which like at the beginning only has like defense. It's only a defensive item, so he can't like actually attack with it, and he can only like punch small things with his fist to like gain experience. So like if you're not familiar with the show, it's an isekai where a kid, like a high school student or a college student, goes into a library, opens a book, and then is whisked away to another world that is like but it's like a video game. He has like a video game HUD over his face, and so he gets he gets the shield, and he's like the shield hero, and there's 3 other heroes. There's a bow and arrow hero, a spear hero, and a sword hero. So like they all have it like easy because they can like attack monsters and stuff, weak monsters and gain experience. But like he can't like the shield hero can't do that. So like it goes on, and his shield gains like some offensive ability, like some limited like offensive ability.
Thing is, you're missing the part that everyone's a toolbox. Everyone is a piece of crap in that series.
Yeah, like I don't give away too much, but like
just no, that's exactly it. Just leave it blank. Everyone's a piece of crap, and they treat him like a piece of crap.
yeah. So like I mean, they really like a lot of shonen anime starts with the hero being like young or whatever, and that's why they need to level up and with whatever they're trying to do. But like with this one, the world that he's in pretty much immediately like beats him down and won't let him gain any experience and stuff like that. So he has a really hard time of it at the beginning, which is the most interesting part of the show, I think. As he gains experience and kind of gets to be better and kind of gets on his feet, it slowly erodes back into just kind of your standard, superhero anime type thing. But like in the like I don't know, like and he's got like he ends up kind of toward the end with three teammates who all happen to be female that follow him around.
Harem candidates.
Yeah. It's like with the second one, you're like, okay, that's two chicks, okay. And then with the third one, you're like, okay, we're just in a harem. We're just in a harem anime.
It's very standard for target audience being, it's a shonen thing. Shonen being like young boys or young
Yeah.
And so you want your hero to be surrounded by a bevy of babes, and but this is like we have a little bit of every archetype a little bit, and like the first one is like, well, she's a little young. Oh wait, magically she got older. Okay, don't worry, it's okay now.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. That's exactly what happens in this. The chick Raftalia is. Oh, and this is what's weird too, is that so like this is really early on, so it's kind of spoilers for like the early part of it, but he's a shield hero. He can't use weapons, so he's got to go. So he's got to figure out a way to like get experience points. So he figures out that he can get a teammate and then they can fight for him and he can share in the experience points. But he gets like a lower amount. And so he can't find anybody who wants to fight with him. So he goes to this slave dealer, this slaver essentially. And he buys a chick who is like, I don't know, she's probably like the age she's supposed to be is probably like, I don't know, 14 or something like that. And then like he buys her as a slave and then teaches her how to fight. And then she like, once she hits like a certain level, she like grows up to be like 20 or whatever, even though it's only been like a few weeks or something. So that's really odd and interesting, but whatever. Oh man. But like, so the show presents a lot of interesting ideas that I don't know. I think if it was for maybe an older demographic, it would have had a better chance at kind of exploring some of the ideas, like that slavery is still legal in the country, and some of the stuff, because like the chick that he buys as a slave to make as a teammate is a demi-human, so she's what you would think of as like a normal woman, but she has, I think it's fox ears and a fox tail. The way they draw them is not not like cat ears.
Oh, she has the curved ears. So I honestly don't remember. I'm pretty sure it's curved, right?
They're kind of curved.
So
yeah,
I can't remember which what race she is, but no, that's the thing is I don't know this. All right, so what is your thoughts on the anime as a whole? Like that's what I'm curious about.
I think it's good. I think it definitely wanes as it goes on. The characters are likable. I think that the main character is likable, because he's not, I don't know, he's kind of dour. He's kind of like, because he's been mistreated and cheated out of a lot of stuff, and he doesn't really trust anybody, which kind of makes it sort of cool. And the fact that he actually has to um, fight low ranked enemies and get his ass kicked a lot, and like think his way out of fights without him personally punching the thing early on. Like later on he kind of does get into like the more starring role of defeating enemies or whatever, but like early on he has to really think about how to do stuff. And I don't know, like it's good. It's definitely better in my opinion than something like I don't know, than like Naruto or any of your super standard shonen stuff. But it does it does kind of devolve into a little bit of that standard shonen toward the end of the first
So
season.
yeah, so you're right. The beginning of the series is the strongest point as a whole. The main party is likable. It's just the other heroes are extremely annoying. The entire rest of the cast, for the most part, or anyone like a lot of the people who are the antagonists, the ones who are mistreated, they're all stupidly annoying. And it's just yeah, it's just not. It was hard for me to like finish that series. It was
Yeah.
it was very disappointing. And then the author goes ahead and has been making a spin-off manga of the Spear Hero, the most
Oh
annoying one of the
no, that's
side heroes.
horrible. Why would you
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that?
I haven't read it. I am not going to. I mean,
I'm gonna read
it's
it.
just
I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read part of it.
yeah.
I,
So it was just like but as far as main heroes being mistreated and overcoming their obstacles. I mean, that the one I mentioned before, the Ari Fureta, that one I liked quite a bit better.
okay.
I just because that dude goes through a lot of stuff, and he literally claws his way out of a dungeon, and like he becomes better through it. I just find that the main character of Shield Hero, yes, he was mistreated, and yes, he has a right to be wary of everyone, but he's also kind of a whiny git. And
Yeah.
because of reasons, like my brain is just waste everybody if I was him, but he can't because of reasons, and I'm like, that's lame. He just
Yeah.
ditch the other, but so it's
Like
without spoiling things. I'm curious about the next season, mostly because the poster on for the season 2 had this giant turtle island, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. It reminded me of like Avatar or something, like the Last Airbender, because there was a giant turtle island in that one too.
huh.
I
Okay.
like turtles.
Turtles are cool, I guess. But yeah, like you're right. The like antagonists, some of the antagonists in Shield Hero, the ones that are from the beginning and kind of throughout, they are really annoying. And
And they never change. No one really evolves or grows up. They all just kind of like, we will not accept you as Shield Hero. We will just deal with you now, but that's because we need to. But we all are still going to be assholes to you despite the situation, and we're all just going to be whiny babies.
yeah,
You know.
and then at one point, kind of toward probably like the back half, they fight the Pope, which is really just like really random, but like it's like the Pope of this world that they're in, and it's, that's like probably the most like shonen part of it because they have like long conversations in the middle of the battle, and I'm just like, come on, try like hide behind a rock or something, but they're just like having this like long conversation for about half the episode, in the middle of the fight, and I'm just like, I hate this.
I do like Philo's character though, just because it's a giant chocobo chicken that turns into a girl. But it's just like I'm gonna turn it like that. We needed a horse to draw the carriage, so this giant chicken just gets to draw the carriage, and
Yeah.
it's just like, all right, you are seriously just the fat chocobo from the old Final Fantasy Super Nintendo games,
Yeah,
and
that definitely that definitely like I noticed that. I was like, this is kind of like a chocobo. I feel his character's good. I think Raftalia's character could be good, but I mean, she's just such a like there to be in love with the hero. And she doesn't have really any dimensionality to herself. She's just she's just an NPC for like love interest for the hero.
yeah, she's his backbone, the support, because he's all like damaged goods, and so she's the one who, like, without her, he's just be a sopping mess of a man.
Yeah,
Uh,
like like probably the most egregious thing to me was spoilers, but like about a quarter of the way through the first season, for reasons, Raftalia loses her slave crest, so she's no longer a slave to him by force of magic. And so they deal with that, and they finish that storyline. And then immediately after they finish that storyline, she goes like they go and they put another slave crest on her, and
she asks for it.
and she asks for it, and I'm just like like you wouldn't. I don't know. Like, why would you do that? I know
It's
what
that loyalty. It's the squire. It's the knight and squire. Like, I will be in servitude of you for now on, like my master, and that's like, that's the loyalty bit. And
I
like,
know, but it's so
why
stupid.
she can't be an equal, man. She has to be property.
It's like, what is going on? You can still like hang out and do what I say, without having
But
like
if
a
he has
literal.
multiple slaves, that means it's okay to have the harem. It's not, that, yeah, that's the anime logic in there. As
I
wrong as it may be,
That is
that's
definitely
that's how it goes.
because they wouldn't even
Uh,
have to do that. It could just be like that. Like it literally doesn't matter for the rest, at least the first season. Maybe because like these were light novels first, so there's not a. I looked to see if there's a manga that they made, and I don't think there is one. I thought they'd make one, but there's not. So like, but there's, as far as I can tell, there's literally no reason for her to need the slave crest again. Everything could have been done in the rest of the show without that. So maybe they're gonna pull it out for next time, or maybe it's there to sell toys, because of reasons, figures and stuff. But I don't know. Like, I enjoy it. I think that it would have served better to be aimed toward an older audience, and be darker. It could have been darker, and that would have made it cooler, I think. But it is what it is. And I'm gonna keep on watching it because it's okay. I don't know. I give it I give it like a 6.5 or 7 out of 10. I don't know why, but that's kind of where it lands for me.
it's because you haven't seen the other stuff, and that it's like, so it's easier to go off on the very beginning, if you don't have a lot of experience in the other thing, like the better stuff. It's where you start. Like, if you don't play a lot of good open world games, then you think Breath of the Wild's a good game. So yeah,
Okay.
gotta get the
Uh,
jab in there. So actually, one of the things that come out from really well with this is the uh the first time I ever seen uh this person. He's I think he's just known as like budget cosplayer.
okay.
Uh and he does I'm gonna have to try to find his real handle, but he does the Shield Hero, and it was pretty good. It's He does things. Uh, he does like very unique things, and like to make the most cheap and like well thought out cosplay. So for this one, if I remember correctly, it was he got like a green tablecloth wrapped around his neck. He wore like the same colored pants or something like that, and then what he ended up doing is just getting orange balloons and just sticking them to him as the
That's
field
good.
mob, like
That's
slime
good.
monsters.
That's really good.
Uh,
It's pretty much all you need. Like, because
yeah,
even if you only watch like the first episode of Shield Hero, then you would totally get that immediately.
yeah, and that's he does things like that. Like he does a Captain America one where he painted a fan, like a little tiny floor fan, and he painted it the colors, and so when it spins, it's the shield. So it's just him standing behind his fan while like in the colors of Captain America, and it looks like he's holding the shield.
That's
Just stupid. He does really good, clever things like outside the box. Like what the hell? I would have never thought of that.
it's like
And he
it's like trailer park cosplay kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Ghetto
it's totally
cosplay.
worth taking a look at.
That's pretty funny.
I'll see if I can. So essentially, that's my signal boost right up in front, and I'll try to find an appropriate link to
I'll
that guy so we
I'll
can add it to the show notes.
I'll throw a picture in there somewhere around here. But yeah, that's cool. Well, that's I've been watching some other stuff a little bit at a time. But that's like the main thing that I got through. So you looked like you've been watching quite a bit of the old Animu. What have you been watching, Joe?
All right, so a lot of the new dubs recently have come out, and it's a little early for me to really speak on a lot of them because usually I like to do at least past the episode 3 analysis, but some of them right out the gate, I'm like, yeah, I'm totally for this one. And one of them is Love After World Domination.
Okay.
This fits in the same vein as last season's Miss Kuritsu's from the Monster Development Department. So both of these have to be around, they're situated around Sentai, which are like the superhero teams. So Power Rangers, Kamen
Oh yeah.
Rider, any masked hero, essentially. That's what these fit in those genres. The Miss Kuruitsu from last season, that one happens to be she makes the monsters that the heroes fight, so the Power Rangers. So she's kind of on that R&D team. So whenever you saw the old Power Rangers TV show and you see like the giant monster at the end, she made those, and that's the aspect from that, which it was pretty funny. I enjoyed it, but then again, I really uh, like I have a fondness for those kind of TV shows, Ultraman and stuff like that as well. So the Love After World Domination, there's only 2 episodes currently out in English, and that one is uh, the the head general of the bad guy army and the Red Ranger, essentially, who's the red is always the hero color, so he's always number one, and they essentially fall for each other, and so they're secretly dating while having to combat each other.
Okay.
um, it's just a slice of life. It's comedy. It's a romantic comedy type of deal. So like their peons and like the rest of the ranger group, which in this one they call them the Gelato Five, and each
Okay.
one of them is different flavored gelato. uh
Okay.
it's super stupid but super good. They they'll be fighting in the background, and then the two main characters will be having like a picnic date kind of, and then the moment someone peeks their head around, then they have to pretend like they're going back into combat. They're trying to hold hands, and all of a sudden someone peeks around and they're like, now they're in a death grip, like fingers interlocked, and then the person goes, well, wow, that's so intense. I'll let you handle it, Red, and they bolt, and then there's like now they're alone again. They're like, we're holding hands. This is so sweet. like like, oh wow, we're doing, like, it says here that the finger interlock is next level stuff, not just normal holding hands. Just it's silly, it's cute. I like it, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Like I said, just
Is it
uh
like how many episodes in is it?
only English dub is only 2. It's I believe it's a 12 episode series.
Okay.
So let's see here. Then there's uh yeah, it's a long one, but trapped in a dating sim.
What's the
Something
full
like, I think
title?
the rest of it's like the world of Otome games is rough for a mob.
Yeah.
Um I mentioned this one before, and yeah, sure enough, it's not disappointing me. So I'm happy about that. The manga is really good, and the main character has some great I'm a jerk face. Like he does a sinister grin, like, it sucks to be you guys.
Okay.
And Yeah, so it's I like it. He just wants to live his normal life, but he just wants to be comfortable, and of course he gets himself stuck into higher situations. But essentially, it's an isekai where he wakes up in a video game where it happens to be an otome game, which is targeted. It's a dating sim targeted towards females. So generally, it's a reverse harem. So the main character is a girl who then tries to meet all the fancy boys. And in this case, like the highest one is the prince of what the kingdom that they're in. And yeah, it's well done. I like it because, like I said, the main guy's kind of an asshole, and he admits to it, and he has like a sidekick that also just calls it as it is, like telling him he's a jerk essentially. Yeah, it's totally worth the watch, I think. So that one's only a few episodes in as well. I'm trying to think what else. Man, I have been watching a lot of the new stuff. One of which I know you've been watching is that Spy X Family or Spy Cross Family,
I think it's just Spy
and
Family.
yeah, but Japan loves the cross. They say cross when it's an X, and they use cross when it comes to verses, and it's annoying. But yeah,
I
just Spy
like
Family.
as far as I can tell, the X when it's like that is just there for looks, and it doesn't actually mean anything. It's like a silent X almost, like Hunter x Hunter. I think is supposed to be
Yep,
pronounced as Hunter x Hunter.
yep,
So
that is
I
correct.
don't know. I think it's just Spy Family. If we're wrong, please correct us and let us know your thoughts. But yeah. So
I
anyway,
don't care.
I care.
Uh,
I care what our viewers think.
no, I don't care about correction of that one. I mean, of all
Uh,
the things to correct me on, you can correct me on so many other things.
like
Um,
everything. I like your
the
opinion of
pronunciation
Breath of
is
the Wild.
manga and anime. So yeah. Uh,
Yeah, it's a Spy
so,
Family. So I only watched the first episode of this so far, and I want to come back to it. I think it's a pretty anime. Um, I don't know something about it I didn't quite like, but I do know that the little girl, I forget her name, this is common knowledge, but she's like the cutest thing since sliced bread. She's just so cute.
yeah, I forgot what they call it. There's an acronym that's used in a lot of things, like something like adorable little girl or cute little girl, something like that. But it's usually it's like the little girl sidekick you have in a lot of things. Um,
Yeah, but like she's
and
like in that first episode, like she can like she's written really funny because like they do things and she she reacts to them in like really funny and cute, like it's like cute funny, but like really funny cute ways that are just really adorable. And I think that they do a good job of that.
yeah, the no, her like what she thinks out loud is pretty funny.
Yeah.
So it's like she's like, Papa's a liar. It's like, Papa's a big liar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
because
stuff like that.
yeah, it's a pretty good one. Like I said, it's iffy. It's like there are parts of it that seem like it's really good. It seems like it has a lot of potential, but also they can just really shit the bed, and it could just be, we'll see. So
Yeah.
I'm hopeful, I guess is the best way to put that. I'm optimistically hopeful on that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep watching it, but that for something about the first episode, I can't remember what I was seeing in it, and I was just kind of like, I don't know what it is that's not quite that I am not getting about it. But anyway, it'll probably be good as it goes on.
There's one that I was watching that I just think it was funny because it's a new one, Tsukimichi. So it's another isekai. Man, you cannot escape these things, and it kind of pokes fun of itself because it's like he's just an average looking dude and he gets isekai'd, and the god's kind of a jerk. In the new world, the new god's a jerk, and he's just it kind of pokes fun of it's like self-aware because he knows what an isekai is. The thing is,
Oh.
I'm watching the first episode and I'm like, this looks very familiar. I didn't, and then by the end of the episode I'm like, I've read this chapter before. I've read this, and I completely forgot that I knew about this. I'm like, Oh, okay. So I haven't gotten around to watching episode 2 yet that's dubbed, but I'm like, yeah, I totally read at least enough for chapter 1, and I'm like, I'm curious how far I got into it before I mentally dropped it because I had no recollection of ever coming across. I'm like, oh yeah, I knew the cover, but I honestly that cover didn't jolt anything in my brain. I
Yeah.
was just like, all right. So yeah, that's I honestly don't know. It's like it seems like it can be good. I mean, as far as the manga goes, it's pretty far along. I think it's decently far, so uh it has potential. But at the same time it's just like I don't know, I found it more funny the fact that I happened to read it and I forgot all about it.
That is
So
pretty funny. That like that's a
I'm
weird
usually
feeling.
pretty good about knowing what I read. I'm really good. Even if I drop stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, no, that was the one of blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, okay, there's a reason why I dropped it. I honestly think there's just too many darn isekais when it comes to it. So I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I have to pick and choose
Yeah.
which ones I'm going to follow, whether it be right or wrong. I usually, even the mediocre one, like I chose this path. I'm walking down it, as my own punishment.
Yeah, I do not know
So
why everything has to be an isekai right now. Like it is like has there ever been a time in anime history where like one idea has permeated the whole medium? It's just it's wild to me.
it's Yeah, it comes and goes in certain waves, but this one's been around, I feel like the longest so far, of at least
Yeah.
modern times. But essentially, it's like, yeah, this is a popular theme. The big thing is they're all coming from light novels, or
Yeah,
at least
light
most of
novels.
them.
A lot
So
of
that's why
light
a lot of
novels.
them you have like stupid, ridiculous titles because that's the popular fad in these light novel trends.
Just have a
And they're
ridiculously long title.
yeah, it's usually really like let's use some stupid, really ridiculous kanji, and like it's that Chunibyo factor. Is like we're gonna make ourselves seem cool by making our like try to be as different as possible,
Yeah.
and yeah, I don't know. It's just it is what's popular, and a lot of people are like, I can make my own twist on that. Uh, and the twist is then instead the harem this time is a bunch of monster girls. Well, my harem is a bunch of like transforming like animal people, or
Yeah.
it's just like
It's
my
just
mine is a bunch of female characters from a dungeon. It's like
yeah, it's just slightly
there's
different versions of the
very
same
little
thing.
variance, and like the big difference is, oh well, my character is reincarnated and they were like the previous god of like swords or something. Now they just want to be an average person, or that's or like he's just a nobody, and now he's still a nobody. It's like, so you either have a superpower fantasy of like being all powerful, or you're like just like meh, and like okay, so he'll have to struggle, but he has enough help to help him out through that. So isekais are just stupid popular because no one wants to live their boring everyday life, and everyone wants to look out the window and daydream about what it would be like to be a superhero, I guess.
Yeah, like a lot of them. I mean, like I don't know about a lot of them, but some of them that I've seen, they don't really have any real consequences. They're like trapped in a video game or whatever. I mean, some of them, I guess they die, but like a lot of them just seem like they're not. It's like, well, if I die, I just go back to like the regular world or whatever, and it's
Well,
like
see, a
okay,
lot of them, there's actually very few that are actually like it's when they go into the video game, they don't know how to come back out.
okay,
So then
okay,
that's the big thing. Is like, oh yeah, this looks just like my video game. Oh wow, it's my same avatar. And all of a sudden, some monster comes out of the woodwork, cuts them in the face, and like, oh my god, this is real pain. Like, and
yeah,
then they freak out, and then they meet like help or something, or they realize they're able to do like their whatever magic spell and blow away like half the map or something. So, but yeah, a lot of times it's when they do get teleported to their VR MMO or some shit. The majority of the time it's like for reals, and or they'll get, it's like they'll get teleported to it's like the fantasy, like any fantasy spot, and they're starting to become more and more self-aware.
mm,
um and that's, it is kind of tongue-in-cheek. You're like, it's like when you watch something like, what do you think this is, an anime? And it's yeah.
yeah. They have that joke in there or whatever. Yeah, yeah. It's I hope that the fad kind of ends.
Well,
soon. I don't mind having a couple of
I was
them.
gonna say too bad because there's another one called Skeleton Knight in Another World.
Oh
So there
yeah,
you go. Which actually seems like it might be all right.
I've
I've
heard
only
it's
seen the cover of the manga.
I've heard it's good, but
I
yeah.
saw episode one. Episode one seemed okay. So yeah. Then I guess the last one that I'm kind of been watching is the let's see
Uh,
the
Ahrensan?
Aren San, yeah, Wa Hakarenai, and it's essentially a Comey can't communicate kind of esque.
Yeah.
Uh, kids being awkward, not really knowing how to deal with each other, and um, it's one, it's essentially the guy trying to be friends with the girl sits next to him, and she speaks very quietly.
Is
It's
she,
silly, it's cute.
is she like super
I think you
smart
think
or
it's okay.
something?
Was it?
Is she like super smart or something?
Uh, they don't show her as being like crazy intelligent. It's just that she doesn't understand the concept of distancing herself between people. So she is like the moment she starts to be close to someone, she gets too close. Uh,
Oh, okay.
like she ends up he tries to be nice to her. She tries to keep her distance, and
Oh,
then
that
she
is a
starts to
very
warm up to him, and then she's literally eating lunch while sitting in his lap, you know,
yeah.
and he's like, "This is too close," you know, but
Yeah, yeah, like
she did. Yeah.
that's like a very Japanese problem. Like when I was in high school, not in high school, when I was in college, some Japanese some people came and we were like their conversation partners and stuff, and we talked about that for some reason, and we were all kind of standing around at this party, and we were talking about it, and this guy I knew named Utah, he he was like, I don't know, we were probably like 3 or 4 feet away from each other, 5 feet maybe. And he was like, kind of, I don't know, just kind of like normal, like distance, I would think. And he was like, it's like in Japan, like this distance between like all of us that were standing there is like too close. And I was like, really? Okay. So there's definitely like a bigger personal space bubble in Japan if you can get it.
Yeah,
Obviously on
then you go on
trains
the
and stuff.
subway and then you're nut to butt the entire time.
Yeah, like subway, it's like, oh, there is no like all that goes out the window. But if you can get the space, they do like to get the space.
Yeah, for sure. And then while I was in Korea, like one of the guys I was martial arts with, like, we would all hang out afterwards, and he just casually like put his hand on my knee, or like or like and I've been in cultures where like like guys holding hands is nothing new. So I'm like, all right, so this is how it rolls here. Okay.
That's
I
a
mean,
lot.
if they accept me as being a friend enough, I'm like, okay, you know. So I guess I should be happy as opposed to them pointing at me and being like, "Hey, that's a foreigner across the street," because I've had that plenty of that too.
Yeah, I can always go that way, but yeah, like so Ahrensan Wa Hakarenai is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. If you like Comey Can't Communicate, it's that same similar like awkward humor. Different art style, but it fits that same. If you want something similar to it, then I think it fits that niche.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So that's pretty much all that you've been watching that we've been watching. And so now we'll just jump over into what we've been playing. Um, so we played a game together with another one of our friends. We played Overcooked 2. Uh,
Yeah. So essentially, some of us got some free, like unexpected free time. We're like, hey, want a game? And like, sure. So we quickly looked Game Pass for some multiplayer games, and uh, Nick and I played some Overcooked way back in the day when I first got my PlayStation 4 Pro. I actually was going to visit. I was visiting you for my wife and I went to visit you in Hawaii,
right.
and we ended up for our anniversary. We're like, yeah, we'll crash with you for a bit, and then we'll do some touring around, and you helped ease up our budget to actually go out and have more fun. So thank you. Uh,
Yeah.
so because we were coming from Japan, during Black Friday, I had sent over I was able to get a PlayStation 4 Pro for a decent bundle deal, and I got some games, and I just had them all shipped, free shipping to Hawaii. And you held on to it for like a month for me, so I appreciated that.
Yeah.
I still have an excellent photo that you took of yourself holding the PS4, being like, "Oh," it's I have it on my phone, so like my old phone somewhere. It's like I love that photo.
You'll have to send it to me. I don't remember that photo, but you'll have to send it to me.
Yeah, and oh no, but so Overcooked was one of the first games I bought on that, and so it was us three. We made it really far until one of the space levels, and it just kicked our teeth in. It
Well,
was it was stupid hard.
we found out later it was broken because like we couldn't get it to work because we were playing the three of us, and then like later you and Carrie played just the two of you, and you're able to do it. But like no matter what we could do, there was just like on three people, it just wouldn't work.
It was like the difficulty scaling was just too hard.
Yeah,
And so,
I don't think it was
or
optimized. It was
you were the missing, you were just the problem.
no,
We got rid
because
of you. And
no, because I remember being like, this is not like physically possible, because it was a
it
newer,
was
it was a new game, and it's like, well, what did they play test the most? They probably play tested two people and four people the most. Three people is a little odd, and it's harder. I would think it'd be harder to balance three rather than the other ones. So like that is what slipped through the cracks from my estimation. But yeah,
So anyone who doesn't know what Overcooked is, uh, it is a fun multiplayer game where you're playing these little Muppet looking people, and the goal of the game is that your chefs having to having to work the line essentially, and in each level there is your kitchen layout is different, and they're showing you a different setup, a different menu item. So there's a rhythm you have to get into for like if you're making hamburgers, you'll have to grab the beef, you'll have to tenderize the meat, throw it on a skillet, and then put it on a plate with a bun. And then so like as the orders come up, you'll see them overhead. They'll be like, okay, we want this burger, but this one we want to have lettuce and tomato. So then you have to take lettuce, tomato, cut those up, and then add those to the bun. So it's a matter of time management and working together to efficiently. Uh, and it's a chaotic mess is what it is.
yeah.
They do gradually get you into it, so they start you real simple, and then each level they just kind of build upon it and build upon it, and it's a lot of fun. It's one of those things that you can lose a lot of time because we next thing we knew like 2 hours had just flew by. We're like, holy crap, we're in like the third world, as it were, third world set of levels, and yeah, I had a really enjoyable time.
It is a blast. It's such a simple idea, but it's such a great idea. It is a friendship tester because it will put because like you're trying to get orders out and stuff, and some people go faster than others, and sometimes people make mistakes. Like it's possible to let something burn or drop something or put something on the wrong thing. And everybody does it. Like everyone does it, and you just have to take a deep breath and try to get the order out on time. And it's usually pretty easy to get the 3 stars on the level, but but even if it's not like the first time, even if you can't get it the first time, it's usually like, okay, we can get this with a little bit of like one more try or two more tries.
Yeah, you start to realize the pattern and what needs to be prioritized. Uh, and like I said, the what's really unique is the levels, how they change up, because sometimes you'll be all together, but then next thing you know, half the map shifts, and so all the kitchen items will now be slid over to one side, and it cuts you off from the rest of the team. Or you'll literally be on separate islands, and then you'll have to throw each other your ingredients. And so
Yeah,
it takes some coordination there.
and yeah,
You might be on different platforms, different elevations, so you can throw down, but you can't throw up. So then you have to, wait until the map shifts,
plan for
so you can
that.
only prep things in advance to a certain point. And
Yeah,
then once those like the windows of opportunities open, move, 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 get what you need from one side to the other, and vice versa, and then get ready for that map to go switch again. So it usually helps when one person takes point and is barking out orders, or at least everyone announces what they are doing, so the other people know. uh, what to expect. And then you can really coordinate around that. Like, I'm getting this, or I'm working on this, and then someone else is like, or you yell at someone, grab me, this, grab me some tomatoes or
Yeah.
something. Like who got the meat, stuff like that. So
Yeah,
it's
like whenever I worked
yeah,
on the food line at Panera Bread, uh, it when you're playing that game and you have to get good at it, it does feel the same way as working on like a food line, because you'll be like sandwich up, or that, like this sandwich is ready, or I need tomatoes, and then people have to go to the back and get like more supplies and stuff like that. For the levels, one of the more interesting levels we played to me was the magical witch level. I don't know, it's kind of like Harry Potter style level, where you're like in this castle type environment, and there's a bridge that magically disappears and reappears on the other side, and then vice versa, it goes back and forth. But there's also a portal, and so if the bridge is out on at that time in that section, then you have to use the portal and then use the bridge to get to the center point. And then so like you have to constantly be watching for if the bridge is there or not. And of course the platforms, sometimes they are walled off, but there's always like a way that you can fall off of the platform, and then you lose time and stuff like that. So it's really cool what they're able to do with the levels. It really keeps you on your toes.
yeah. The music's also really good. So if you ever watch like the Great British Bake Off or whatever, the baking show, like that kind of tense music when like things are ramping up, and then it's like, because in the beginning it's casual and mellow, and then it just kind of speeds up, and it's very good.
Slowly
You
the
don't
tempo
really
builds.
notice it, but you're like, when you take a step back or you're watching it from the outside, like, oh yeah, that music totally does provide that awesome tension that you didn't realize was there, but it does kick in a pretty good amount. Yeah, so uh, currently we're playing Overcooked 2, and that's on Game Pass. I like the first game a lot too. The first game, the point of that one was the flying spaghetti monster comes to destroy the world, and then you have to time travel to, because your skills aren't good enough to satisfy it. The ever peckish is what they call it,
Uh,
and so then so you go back in time, and then you're essentially cooking through time. And getting the skills you need to finally come to the apocalypse again, to fight to fend it off.
did the
So
first one did the first one ever get online play, or was it always couch co-op only?
I honestly don't know if it got online play. I've only ever played it couch co-op, so that's all I can say, because
That
I'm the
was
only one who I knew ever owned that amongst my friends. And
yeah.
they don't usually come to my place to play it.
Yeah, that was the only problem they had with Overcooked 1 was whenever it was new, at least it only had couch co-op, and I was like, "Dang, this game, I mean, really needs online play, at least with your friends or whatever." But I'm glad that they added that to the second one, cuz that was clutch for us. But so that's what we played, but I also played a game called Chinatown Detective Agency. I think I mentioned that I was going to play this a while ago. This came out April 7th of this year, published by Humble Games, developed by General Interactive Co. So this game is like the aesthetic is like a pixel art for like the gameplay, except for there's like rendered paintings of the characters that are really well done. And the characters' faces are like painted in little boxes, and they come up whenever they speak. Um, and it's uh, it's mostly an adventure game, but it doesn't rely on like an inventory and like matching things up and puzzles that way. Instead, it relies on clues that come from real world information. Um, so like, so like, I guess I'll get to that more in a second. But like the premise of the game is that it takes place in Singapore, and you play as a lady named Amira Dharma, who was I think the game description says that she was once a rising star at Interpol, um, and she has since turned into a private investigator. So there's probably some kind of like mystery there for like why she was at Interpol but now is not. Um, but like the it's a pretty interesting little game. Um, it's on Game Pass. It's free in that way. Um, the game. So like I was playing through the first mission, and it gave me a clue um, of a quote, and it wanted me to input part of this quote or who wrote this quote, who first said this quote, into this database. And I looked around through everything I could find in the game, and I couldn't figure out what it was, like what the keyword was. So finally, I was like, screw it. So I just looked it up online, and when I started looking up online, the place that I was looking at it said, "This is a game that wants you to use the real life internet to look things up and figure things out." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that explains why it is this way." So I Googled the quote, and I was able to find the original person who said it, and then I put their name into the like in-game machine, and then it like let me go on. And so that is pretty cool. I liked that aspect of it because it in a way it kind of turns something that's really boring, like looking up random, not so much random, but like things from history or geography on the internet, like looking those things up and turning them into kind of gameplay. It makes you feel like you're Carmen San Diego, sort of like you're really kind of looking this stuff up. But So like everything you do in the game costs money. So like you can take a train ride and to a different part of town that costs like $2, or you might have to go get on a plane and fly to another part of the world, and that costs like over $500. So like the game is making you spend money and stuff like that, and you only have like a limited amount. Um, and that's kind of important because the game, it won't let you save. It only auto saves, and it only auto saves after you complete a mission. So I think it's to prevent you from making a save in a position that you can't get out of. But to me, it's really annoying because you have to like the mission takes like, I mean, like the first time you play it takes like an hour or more. I think they get a little longer as you go, but it's annoying because like I wish they had just made it so you could save, like it auto saved for you like as you went through, and then you could save whenever you wanted. So it's like, oh, I screwed up, I can't fix this. Oh, well, let me go back to the autosave that the game did for me. But it for whatever reason that they didn't do that. But anyway, it's pretty interesting little game. I don't really like. I'm not going to play much more of it. Um, it's it's like it doesn't really tell you like a a story outright. Like it pretty much just starts you on like this like clue finding mission. And it's got a kind of interesting aesthetic. It's set in the year 2037. Everything's really super futuristic, and I'm like, that's only like 15 years in the future. I don't know if it should be quite that futuristic, but it's all right. It's a good Game Pass game. But I personally probably wouldn't spend any money on it. But yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
it's worth a try.
when I first saw it, it reminded me of Tokyo Dark, which is also an adventure game. That one was published by Square Enix, and but it was like it looked like it like that, but pixel art and somewhat cyberpunk.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, okay. So I downloaded it just to give it a shot, but I've not gotten a chance to get to that. So yeah, I'm not sure. I still want to try to give it a its own fair share, because I generally like the I like a lot of adventure games. It's just how much time you got, and also I understand the idea of depending on the type of adventure game, like having the chapters set up a little farther out because it stops you from maybe save scumming, or like if you have an option, like a certain path choice.
Yeah.
That way you don't have to, it'll stop you from like, okay, let me go with all three of them and like see which one's my favorite, and then go back to reroute it. And it makes you commit to a path, I guess, if that is the case in this game.
Yeah.
But I can see that.
Yeah, it seems all right. But I don't know. It's definitely not grabbing me like big time. So I'll probably move on from it. But yeah.
All right.
Anyway, so that's what I've been playing. You have been playing a little more Vampire Survivors, and it seems like you discovered something new about it that you
Yeah.
didn't know.
Okay, so there was recently another update, and that unlocked a couple more trophies or achievements, and I'm like, all right, sure. And I knocked those out because, like I said, lately I've only been having minor time playing the evening, so like that's perfect. I'll watch some anime on the side and just play this and get in the groove, and I'm like, yeah, it's awesome. I got the achievements, but one of them was giving me a hard time, so I had to look up something about it. And so upon looking up some information, because like I knew what it was like a simple, like it was a simple task, but I just didn't know how to make the event happen. And I was like, okay, well, let me just see what criteria is being needs to be done. And then I saw someone's video that had characters that I didn't know existed, and I'm like, as playable characters. I'm like, wait, what? And so then I went ahead and searched. I'm like, sure enough, there are secret characters in this game that one of which, like, I didn't even realize you were able to do, but apparently you kind of have to do a certain cheat around, like workaround. You have to a proper build and get in the right situation circumstances uh, to do this. I'm like, but there's a handful. There's like five, at least five different characters that are secret. So I don't really want to spoil too much because some people want to either try to find that or discover that themselves. But it was just like, wow, this game just keeps on giving, and it's only like, currently it's still 0.5.1, I think, currently. So it's half done.
Oh
Um,
wow! So they have a
I'm
lot.
looking,
They could. So it sounds like they might want to add a lot then.
yeah, it's for sure. It's like the game that can potentially keep on giving. And I mean, it was only $3 off of Steam, so I'm very happy with it. But once again, it's just like it happens to fit my life perfectly right now in this niche little position. I think being able to play this, the idea of in the future to be able to play this on like a handheld, portable, or even a cell phone, because this honestly, you just need to be able to touch and like point and move like your character. That's all you need to do. I think it'd be perfect for a cell phone, to be honest. I'm not one to play games on my cell phone, but it'd be nice to not be able to be at my computer necessarily to play this game, because I am enjoying the crap out of it. So
Yeah, if you think you could play it on a cell
uh
phone, then that'd be cool. But yeah, because taking it on the go is always nice. It seems like a game. I don't know. I haven't played it, so I don't know. But it seems like it might be a game that could benefit from that or an iPad or something.
yeah, and then I got to play a little bit more Max Payne. It's like, because I got it up and running, but I came across something that I haven't come across in a long time, which was a straight up hard crash. The game like locked up on a certain scene and just hard locked. I'm like, okay, let me like alt tab, let me get back to the main nope. I can access my start menu. I can but I can't actually. No, I can't do anything. It's like
Mm.
task manager. Nope. Uh, okay. I'm gonna go to start. I'm just gonna go ahead and restart my entire computer, and it did automatically shut down. It did a proper shutdown. I'm like, okay, cool. I just it's such an old game, and so it's like. I played a couple hours of that, and I was like, man, I still remember how much I love this game, and this game's freaking great. Props to their little TV show, Lords and Ladies. Uh,
Yeah. Okay.
it's they do this. Remedy has this great bits where in all their games they'll have some sort of TV show or some sort of extra video narrative, and there's a continuing soap opera. That you come in Max Payne, where you're just walking by and there's a TV show and they have a theme song, and it's just really chintzy done. Like soap opera called Lords and Ladies, and it's like, my lord, my lady, my lord, my lady. It's just it's so dumb. And it's like then in the background you hear someone else watching TV like start sniffling and like say talking about one of the characters or something like that, and it's just it's silly. They really they amped it up when they got to like Alan Wake and Control. They did really good extra video footage like things, because like Alan Wake, they made their own version of Twilight Zone or the Outer Limits,
Yeah.
and so those are pretty good. I cannot remember what that show was called in game, but yeah, it was. So Max Payne still holds up. I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to get around to finishing that game, but I'm really glad I started it, and it. I'm going to be chomping at the bit. I'm hoping for the new one when they finally remake that. So
Still playing. Still playing it. That's cool, man. Well, glad it's still good. So that's what we've been playing. Next, we're gonna go into the news. Do you want to take a break, or do you want to just power through the news?
yeah, I'm good to go.
All right, let's jam. There's some stuff that's pretty interesting. I don't know how there's a lot that I pulled, but I don't know how much of it will actually go through. Um, Leading the way though is this is coming from I'm pulling it from Video Games Chronicle. Activision Blizzard has been sued by New York City over Microsoft acquisition. So the subtitle is shareholders claim Bobby Kotick agreed takeover in a bid to escape liability and accountability. So so I pulled this because it seems like the the whole Activision Blizzard mess is just a gift that keeps on giving as far as news is concerned. I think it's kind of interesting. I didn't really read exactly what all they are like what all they think he did or whatever, but apparently they are trying to go after Kotick himself. I know I've heard several other people say that they think that Kotick is more culpable with certain aspects of the problems than anybody would like to admit, at least over there. So I don't know. I thought it was interesting, and I'm kind of looking forward to see how it shakes out. But besides that, we've got more. So this is from a little while ago. I think this is from like back on. I think this is actually the right before we actually did our last podcast, and I just missed this. But Ubisoft is Ubisoft is drawing buyout interest once again. So like Blackstone, KKR are among private equity firms that are studying the business, and it's just funny because like Ubisoft was in some takeover stuff with what, like Viacom, was that it years ago? I forget who was trying to take them over, but they were buying a bunch of their shares, and they had a pretty close to a controlling interest, and they managed to fight that off. But I was just like, okay, this is happening all over again for Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one was a weird one because yeah, they made such a big deal when they finally fended them off, and they stood up on stage, I mean, like kind of like, we did it, guys, we survived the takeover, we're ourselves, and they're like, yeah, anyone want to buy us now? We're up for we're interested in the idea. So it's like, wow, what a curious about face.
Yeah, I don't I don't know, but I just thought it was kind of funny. We'll see what they end up doing. I don't know why, like, why are they always trying to get sold? Like, why are they why are they in that mess? I feel like Ubisoft makes a lot of big games. It makes a lot of money.
It's a hit and miss, right? Like, I think it's the fact that they for every big game that hits, you got stuff that, you got certain Assassin's Creeds that don't make it, right? And it's
Yeah.
like, and then you're playing recoup, right? You're trying to do well the next one, hoping that it makes big, and the next thing you know, you got a Watch Dogs, which are like, oh, Watch Dogs maybe wasn't as good as they thought it'd be. And
Maybe
then
we're
they're like, all right,
mad.
well, let's hopefully the next Far Cry game takes off. Like, that one was all right, but then let's try this Assassins and the Assassin. So it's like big games, huge games, but they're not always knocking them out of the park. So it's hard to invest, right? They want to double down in certain things. Like, yeah, let's put a lot of effort into this, and they have so many studios, so many resources, and it's expensive to make games, and especially if they're not selling, gangbusters, then it's now they recoup their losses in the end. But the one thing that they've been doing really well is their support for their like live game services. They like, wow, this game's not really great out the gate, but then and they're in it for the long haul, and then by the time they're done, they're like, wow, that they supported this a lot, and it's gotten a lot of fan base for their online stuff. But as far as their single player stuff goes, I mean, Watch Dogs 2 was like well received as a whole, but
Yeah.
1 and Legion were not, to the best of my knowledge. And yeah, it's kind of is like the Far Cry games have been spotty, to say the least. I mean, Primal wasn't that great. 3 was pretty phenomenal.
That's
4
like
was
years and years
yeah,
ago. I mean, that's
yeah,
like ancient history for some of the even Primal's like getting really old now.
yeah. But I mean, that's the thing is they came out with Primal, then they came out with 4, and because Primal burned a lot of people. So they're like, yeah, I'm not really caring about 4 too much. I played 4, skipped 5. And then a lot of people were not happy with the way 5 played out as far as storyline goes. Um, I tried 6. I was very disappointed in 6. I spent a lot of stupid time on 6. I
I
spent like
know.
20 hours,
I know.
and
You saw
plus I'm like,
six.
that game went nowhere, and I was just, oh, I want my life back.
Yeah,
Uh,
so I mean, I guess they don't really have that many money printers. I'm trying to think of what games they have that really just print money, and the only thing I can think of is like the Division and maybe one of the Tom Clancy games or something.
Rainbow Six Siege is still
Uh,
widely accepted.
yeah,
They
yeah.
they came out with the new one, which was Quarantine, but now it's they rebranded it to Extinction. I can't remember. But it used to be Quarantine before the real Quarantine happened, and then they're like, "Ooh, maybe we shouldn't keep that title." So yeah, no one's really talking about the new Rainbow Six game too much. And that one is on Game Pass. Or at least I thought it was on Game Pass, and yeah, just not too many people, you know, are interested. But those who play Rainbow Six Siege, like they really went in on that.
It's supposed to be a
The
good
character
game, yeah.
They made a lot of cool characters. I mean, they went from normal people, like, yeah, this is an agent of, like different government, like special forces, to like slowly becoming like superheroes or GI Joes essentially. So
Yeah.
they are, they have superpowers now, and or like super special abilities. So yeah, I mean, but they've been supporting that game forever, and that's awesome.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I
as
guess
far as it's not that surprising that they're on the verge of being bought out all the time, but because like I said, they don't have anything, like even when Assassin's Creed does really well, I don't know how well is really well, because a lot of people are just kind of done with Assassin's Creed. So
yeah, I guess you'll never really know how things are going on, behind the scenes with like money and stuff. They can make good games or whatever, but if they're not like economically viable and profitable, then the company's going to have to, get sold or go into some kind of problematic financial situation. So yeah, it's just one of those things. The next story is Twitch. This is from April 27th, so it says over a week ago, but I thought it was interesting. Twitch is coming from Gizmodo. Twitch is reportedly considering cutting streamer pay to boost its own profits. I'm not a fan of that headline. I think that's kind of like, I don't know. That's kind of what do you call it? That's definitely revealing the paper's bias. But anyway, this is the one I found for it. But anyway, so Twitch is going to cut or thinking about cutting the amount of money that the streamers make. Um,
so
and
the revenue is currently at a 70-30 split,
yeah,
and so the rumor has it that it's going to be a 50-50 split, which means that people are going to be losing 20%, and that's going to, like, especially the high end streamers, they're going to lose a lot of money.
It's
And
huge. Yeah.
so, yeah, it's like when you're talking about like some of the people who makes like hundreds of thousands or something like that. That's a 20% is a large extra cut to take away. The other thing is they're like, well, you don't have to be exclusive anymore. Okay, well, what happens to the people who sign contracts?
Yeah.
Now that they don't, it's like so they sign contracts, and now new people don't have to be. You can be on both platforms. YouTube and Twitch. So
It
a lot of
seems.
people aren't happy. It's not. There's no way around it. I think YouTube turned around and fired back, being like, "Hey, yeah, we're still 70/30, and we've always let you be on be on any platform you wanted. So there's no exclusivity with us. Yeah, just FYI, guys."
Yeah. The dip is from 70% down to 50%. So yeah, that's like the big overall view. But if you're a streamer and you're getting 70%, so the 70% that you get, that is 70% of the overall money that's made, but it's 100% of the money that you get. So a drop from 70% down to 50% is, for a streamer personally, actually a drop of like 28.5%. It's almost 30%.
Almost 30%. Yeah.
So it's like yeah, it's a 20% drop, but actually, if like from a streamer's point of view, it's like even more. So like thinking about like losing 28% of your money is pretty wild. And this article that I have says that Twitch is kind of going from bad to worse. They are gonna push. They're gonna be pushing their streamers to run more ads, and it's like, so you're gonna make me, so you're gonna pay me less, and try to make me run more ads, which is going to invariably piss people off. Everybody hates ads, and which is going to drive away or at least hinder growth. I'm kind of like baffled. Like if I was a streamer that had a big following and had any possibility at all of going to YouTube without, like losing my shirt, I would seriously consider it, like very seriously. This seems like a dumb move to me.
So that's a lot of speculation is going around in that being like, well, that's if you're a top streamer and you're losing 30% of your income, so what do you do? Well, what you do is you don't up and leave Twitch right away. What you do is you then start moving your presence to YouTube, and you can run both, and then after give it some time, and then eventually make the complete shift over. Now there are. I'm not too sure 100% on the revenue process of streaming, but like I think was it Twitch has they have their other not subscriptions or like donation, yeah, subscription round funds. So like there's other ways to give your streamers money that currently Twitch doesn't take that piece away, but YouTube does not offer the same kind of income. You can't just be gifting subs,
Yeah.
and so because of that, once YouTube gets if YouTube gets that availability, that will really open the floodgates to like, hey, we're letting our streamers have the same amount of income. Well, now then technically better than Twitch, and we're not as uptight. So it's one of those things that like, well, Twitch isn't making, from everything I've heard, Twitch isn't really making Amazon money, and only the mid range streamers actually make real money, because the high end guys are actually hurting Twitch as a whole,
Hmm.
as far as financially, like for the numbers,
Interesting.
and yeah, so therefore they're getting greedy and they're kind of ruining their own platform, so it kind of sucks.
Yeah, like I mean, I haven't really studied the way Twitch works in a while, but as far as I remember, they don't have a like a like they don't have a like a discoverability system. So like on YouTube, if you make a good video about like Final Fantasy or something, and it's a good video, they're gonna show that video to people who like Final Fantasy or who are adjacent to it. And if it's good, then the people will click on it, and then it'll get shown to more people and more people, and then you'll get and like you can start from zero. And if you've made something good, you can have an immediate growth presence on YouTube. Twitch doesn't have anything like that. Like if you want to get like I've read a lot of people say if you want to get big on Twitch, you need to go get big on YouTube first, because then you can pull over all of your people to Twitch and say, hey, I'm on Twitch, this time, and everybody that watches your videos will come and check you out on Twitch because they already like you. Well, like Twitch, it wouldn't be as easy, but I think Twitch could create a discoverability system where it's like, yeah, you're a brand new streamer, but if you're funny and interesting, they're showing you to so many thousands of people, or hundreds of people or whatever. And if you like do well in that demographic, then they show you to more and more and more. But they don't seem to like have anything like that. It's like if you're big, then you're big, and if you're not, then it takes forever to grow any kind of presence on Twitch, and that in the long term that kills that kills it because people don't want to watch the same thing over and over again, and people don't want to try to join up if they're just going to get like shit canned for months and months and months. It's so there's a lot of stuff that Twitch needs to do, and it just seems like in the long war of streaming, this is a bad move, and they're going to start to lose more to me. But anyway.
Yeah, once again, this is all, none of it's been confirmed yet, but hopefully the idea is by this going out there, it might be a wake-up call that they need, and they'll hopefully be able to correct the ship and, prevent some of this stuff from happening, and maybe start making some positive changes.
Well,
Or YouTube can just see the wounded animal and then really go in for the kill and just go straight for the jugular. So
yeah, I mean, there's other stuff that's in this article that are kind of interesting. So Twitch is simultaneously reeling from what Bloomberg calls a mass exodus of employees disappointed in the company's direction. Some 300 employees reportedly left Twitch last year. I don't know who's reporting that, but someone is. With another 60 leaving in the first 3 months of 2022. So they're having a lot of people leave. That doesn't bode well. I guess we don't really know the full story of that, but that taken with this, I don't know. It seems like there's some disagreement about the direction that Twitch should go.
Yep.
So going on, this is it's another article from April 26th. Netflix reportedly aiming to offer 50 games to subscribers by the end of 2022. They're going to continue focusing on mobile games for now. This is coming from Eurogamer. I think this is interesting. I don't know if I want to play games on Netflix. How do you feel about it?
I haven't played they currently have that choose your own adventure system, so on certain a few games. I know they did like Man versus Wild, choose your own adventure, and there's one of Kimmy Schmidt and a few others. I think there's a Carmen Sandiego one. So they seemed like neat in concept. Oh, that's right, because originally it was what was it, Black Mirror or whatever.
Yeah, the Bandersnatch or whatever.
Yeah. So I mean, I did play that one, and that was neat. It was a lot of fun.
So I think this is a little bit different. Like they do have those kind of things that are right there within the Netflix proper browser, but they are making like gaming games. Like they like games for mobile, like games for your phone, like on like Android. They made a Stranger Things game.
And for the rest of it, I just don't care. I mean, it's one of those things that I never would go to Netflix unless granted they could be making something awesome. But like when they tried coming out with the Bandersnatch, I just remember hearing like there was an interview with like the director, as it were, and he's like, yeah, this it was how super tough it was and how it was really difficult. I'm like, well, that was the most interesting thing I've seen in a while, and it really, it's like it's not for everyone, but for them to come out making mobile games, I'm like, what are you gonna do? Start making the mobile game version of your exclusive shows, that the preacher or whatever, like the one that you watched, like make a game, or like a stranger, like they already, I guess I'm not sure how affiliated they are with that Stranger Things mobile game that came out a little while ago.
I think that they it says in this article that they had that made. So yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I mean, there's a few property things that but I've not heard anything super amazing about it. I've not heard of anything being like, oh, that's hot garbage. But it's like it's apparently not really moving the needle. So the idea of them making more of those is kind of a whatever situation.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it's interesting, and they I think if I were them, yeah, I'd probably get into video games a little bit, try to kind of diversify. It doesn't seem like they're making anything that I really want to play, because mobile games are just sort of whatever. But if they do get into, they have some interesting studios. Gotta pull it up again. They have like Boss Fight Entertainment and Next Games and the people that made Oxenfree Night School Studio. So there's potential there to make some interesting stuff, but it's all stuff that I'm not really super into. So I guess we'll see how it goes. But it's just kind of a I don't know. Like I get it, but I'm also not gonna go out of my way to try to play Netflix games. I don't think.
yeah.
So last story I think I'll include here because I thought it was kind of interesting. This is from 3rd of May. So Reggie Fils Aime claims Nintendo of America was forced to launch Gameboy Micro. Former exec claims siloed thinking contributed to lackluster results for the system. So apparently there's a new book out, and it's called Disrupting the Game from the Bronx to the Top of Nintendo. And it's a new book by Reggie Fils Aime, and I guess it's kind of a tell-all where he talks about different parts of the Nintendo experience. Anyway, I just thought it was kind of interesting that to kind of get some of that insider information about the crazy weird stuff that Nintendo had to do.
Yeah, the Game Boy Micro was always a weird thing. I mean, it was too small for the average adult. It's only really like the only real good target audience was like elementary school kids, because
Yeah.
it was really tiny. I mean, it was a keychain like device. It was uh it was neat in concept, but that's really about it. Like no one really liked to play on it. You trolled is what you did. Like, yeah, man, I'm playing this thing. This is great. And I'm like, no, dude, you're not. You don't love this thing. This, like your thumb is covering over all the buttons. But it was just a fun novelty thing. Like nowadays, I think it would actually do way better, just because with the retro consoles that have come out, like this, the small NES Classic, SNES, Sega Genesis, PlayStation. So I think this would fit in that pantheon of like small form factor, and it's like, this is a cute little thing that I can have on my desk, that's it doesn't take up much space.
You,
But as a whole, I was not, I just remember selling those things and be like, or selling them and slash not selling them, like it's like, yeah, you got one of those micros. Well, wait, what, you want one? Sure, it's right over here.
I mean,
While you're at it, do you want a Nintendo, or not Nintendo, a Nickelodeon video card that has one episode of SpongeBob? You know,
yeah.
so
Yeah, I didn't even know that they existed, so I was kind of like, wow, Nintendo actually made that. Okay. Um, but yeah, anyway, so that's all for the newsy news. All right, so I think that's gonna do it for us, unless you have anything else.
right now on Epic, Terraforming Mars is free.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, if you're slightly into board games, but you don't necessarily want to have to deal with the amount of crap you have to do, or table space, or maybe you don't have enough space, like that, by all means, uh, give it a shot. I have not played the digital version. The actual game is pretty awesome. I'm hoping. I know recently the new Gloomhaven digital just went, like that's been getting a lot of good reviews recently, and they have a multiplayer aspect up now that me and some friends are curious about. So it's one of those things that we're waiting for one of us to pull the trigger so the rest of us can, but none of us really want to do it. So yeah, we'll see about that too.
Okay, that's pretty cool. All right, so if you want to send us emails, send them to anotherdeadpixelgroup@gmail.com, and we'll read those out. I didn't even check to see if we got any. I don't think we did, but it is what it is. So if you sent one and we haven't answered,
We'll bring them up.
sorry.
We'll bring it up next time. We promise.
We'll figure it out and bring it up next time. Anyway, that's going to do it for us. Joe, what is the moral of today's podcast?
Don't listen to Nick's advice about movies. He has very bad taste, especially with superheroes.
I'm going to cut all of that. I'm going to cut all of it. Anyway, thanks for listening, and see you next time. Bye.
Take it easy, guys.
Hello, and welcome to the bottom of the internet. This is Another Dead Pixel, a podcast that wishes it was a TV show. I am your host. I'm going to start over.
Okay.
All right. Let's do it again. Okay.
I thought it was clever though.
It's clever. It's gotta be smooth. Okay.